Hey, what's up, guys? Back again with another vlog. It is 12:48 in the morning. Sorry about that. I had a pretty good day today. I woke up at around 10 a.m., I think, 11 a.m. maybe. But I got out of bed at like 1 p.m. because I was tired and I went to bed really late last night. So, yeah. Other than that, I set up the Christmas tree today and it was pretty fun. Nothing, not too exhausting by any means. I did it pretty quickly. Um, and I got all the ornaments, set up all the ornaments by myself. Basically, I did everything except for like carry the tree. And my dad helped me like set up the tree and the lights and stuff. But other than that, I did everything else. So that was pretty cool. Oh, and the vacuuming, I didn't do that. But I set up all the ornaments and it looks pretty cool. So, yeah. I also made like a really nice breakfast for myself and it was really nice. I made like eggs with some toast with cream cheese, and then I had like some raspberries with this yogurt my mom has, which is really good, and it was so delicious. Like, I felt so good about myself because I feel like an adult. I felt like an adult making my own little breakfast. Also, look at this little glitter jar. I've had this for so long now at this point. I made it a while ago. I don't know if I ever talked about that in my vlog. I don't think so, actually. I made this when I was doing in the final class or group session that we had of our managing powerful emotions thing. It was a thing at my university that I did. And in the very last meeting, we made glitter jars. So it's a good reminder of that. I also have some New Year's resolutions from last year here. And let me read them to you. The first one is write a complete story from start to finish. I did do that technically. The next one is read Bleak House, The Iliad, and Pride and Prejudice. I have not read any of those. The next one, be able to do 30 push-ups with perfect form. Also was not able to do that. Be your authentic self is the last one, and I think I'm actually getting pretty good at that one. That one I'm doing pretty well, I think. I've told my mom about my boyfriend, actually, and she was really supportive, so that was nice. I haven't told my dad yet that I'm gay, even, so at this point, like, I've been out for so long to my mom, but my dad doesn't know. So, like, I might as well just come out to my dad. Like, I'm not that scared that anything will go wrong, you know what I mean? At this point, like, I don't really care. Like, I'm sure he'll be supportive. So, I'm honestly considering coming out to him tomorrow. It's kind of crazy to think about. It was something I was so nervous about for so long and something I've hidden for so long, but I feel like I'll feel much better once I do come out, because then I can tell him about my boyfriend as well. Just like my mom and what she knows. She's supportive. So surely he'll be supportive, right? Right? I think he'll be fine. I'm not worried about my safety or anything. I'm sure he'll understand. So I think I'm going to come out to him when I'm ready. I was considering waiting until I moved out, but that's going to take years and years, and it's going to take a while. So at this point, I kind of just want to come out to him so I can just be honest. Maybe I could, like, at one point invite my boyfriend over, have him meet my family, That's much easier to do once I'm fully out to my mom and dad. And who knows, maybe my extended family could also eventually find out. you know, because this is me. It's not going to change. And I don't want to keep them in the dark forever, you know? Because I want my boyfriend or, to meet my family. I don't want to like be in the complete dark with them, you know? I'm getting to the age where like, I'm expected to have like a partner or something or like dating, I'm worried that someone's gonna ask, are you dating anyone? Like, do you have a girlfriend or anything? And I'm like, no, actually, I have a boyfriend, I want to avoid that conversation coming up. And I think it's best if I just, come out to my dad. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think I'll do it tomorrow. So, no pressure on myself, though. I'll do it when I feel ready. But at this point, I feel like he won't care, He thinks I'm straight still, which is kind of crazy. But I'm gay, and I need to tell him that. At least my dad, my extended family can wait a bit. My dad, I have to tell him eventually. Because this is a big part of me, right? And I want to tell him. He technically doesn't deserve that information. Well, deserve isn't a good word. He doesn't necessarily like need this information, right? But it's good to have, And since I'm assuming he'll be supportive, I'm pretty optimistic of that. I should tell him. I should probably tell him. I'm at the stage of life where I think I'm ready to come out to him. And I think he'll be supportive. So, yeah. And I'm not scared. Like, at this point, I've just been like, if he asks me about something, like, I'll answer. It's just, he hasn't ever asked me. So, I'll just tell him. I want to tell him. It's like the one big secret in my life left. And I feel like he deserves to know. So, yeah. Other than that, I just played video games today, set up the tree, talked to my boyfriend online. We've been watching movies online through Discord, so that was pretty fun. And it's good to talk to him and see him, even though we're not together, like physically. But that's gonna happen, I'm gonna be home for the summer, so I won't be able to see him for like 4 months. But during those 8 months, when I am in school, we'll be able to meet each other more often, fortunately. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that for a while. Because I really do like him. My boyfriend, I mean. We're boyfriends, so obviously we like each other. But I feel really optimistic about this boyfriend, Way better than my previous boyfriend, my ex, who I broke up with. We're already on much better terms, and I feel like it'll be a bit easier to talk to him, and I feel like I'm more willing to overcome issues, and, no relationship is perfect. There's no such thing as perfection in a relationship, and I think I've realized that at this point. Searching for the one, it's kind of not really a thing, because the one is subjective to each individual person. So, like, to someone, the one is, a very specific type of person compared to someone else. So, like, they're perfect for you, but they're not themselves perfect, Because no one is perfect, right? There's people that are meant for each other, like they fit and they make sense to be together, personality wise or what have you, or, interests wise, there's many different types of pairings that just make sense, right? But with that said, when issues do arrive, and they will arrive, that's bound to happen in a relationship. Arguments will eventually happen. Disagreements will eventually happen, right? The most important thing is being able to communicate honestly, getting over it, and understanding that you still love this person, even if you don't really see eye to eye for a specific thing. I mean, I guess it depends on like what exactly it is, because if it's like, a really big thing, like we should get married, then okay, obviously that might not be something you want to argue about. But like everyone is different, right? And all that matters is communication, understanding each other, setting boundaries, setting expectations, being honest. That's important. And valuing each other is also important, right? Because with my boyfriend, he's not what I expected in terms of who I thought my boyfriend would be, right? But I'm willing to, make it work, per se. And even though we aren't, super similar in terms of some things, that's okay. It's okay to be different. And it's okay to have, different qualities. You don't want to marry yourself, do you? You don't want to be boyfriends with yourself. That's a bit narcissistic, right? So I think we have a good balance. I still have to wait and see. Obviously, we've only just started dating, so it's still all very new. I'm curious to see what we'll be like in like 3 months, half a year. In 1 year, what will our relationship be like if it lasts that long? Which I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping it does last a long time. And we've already had talks about like, do we want kids? Do we want to get married? We've already had these talks very early on, and we've already said I love you very early on, and we became boyfriends after knowing each other for like less than 2 weeks. Like it was pretty quick. Very quick. My only concern is that like as we get to know each other for longer, that things will change, for the worse. But it could also change for the better. You never know. There's only one way to find out, and that's to just get to know each other better. So, yeah. But I do like him a lot. Like, I'm really glad he's in my life. I'm really fortunate to have him right now. He helped me through my exams. So, yeah. I really do love him. So, I feel like that's what matters. And when I see him, I feel happy. Is that so bad? I don't think so. I think that's a good sign. I feel optimistic, is what I'm trying to say. I feel hopeful for the future. And also, his birthday's coming up, and I need to think of something to give him. I'm still trying to figure that out. I have an idea. The thing is we're long distance just for the moment, right? While I'm home for the winter break, so I need to figure something out. But I have an idea. And I'm also definitely getting him something when I come back. So there's that as well. But yeah, that's my goal for tomorrow, is to think of something for his birthday and also for when I get back, to meet him in person, like, because I want to give him a physical gift as well. So yeah, I'm gonna sleep on that. But yeah, that's all. Talk to y'all tomorrow. See ya.